All right, guys, we are at the Volvo Customer Center in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, and we got some new goodies to check out. Let's do it. As you guys know, the equipment world is ever evolving. More and more technology is getting introduced to these machines, and Volvo is on the leading edge of that. And today we're going to check out a few different things here, and we're going to start off with the excavator. Two different things here. One, we got the 530E, and we also have over here the 550. And what makes these machines a little bit different than what we're used to or accustomed to before is kind of the control system on them. These are no longer pilot controlled machines. If you guys are not 100% familiar with them, I'm not going to go into a great detailed explanation, but pilot control is kind of the control system on excavators and a lot of equipment we've used for years, where you use pilot pressure to move the hydraulic valve, which operates all the functions. These machines are completely switched over to electronic controls. I know that sounds scary at first, but let me jump up in cab and show you all the different options in the whole new world it opens up to you as an operator. All right, guys, just hopped up here in the cab at first glance. Very, very familiar surroundings here, very similar to the 140 we have. The Volvo cabs have always been known for being comfortable, spacious, good visibility. All that stuff's 100% intact. Two main things you may notice right off the bat. One is this screen. We'll get to that here in a minute, but I want to focus on the joysticks and some new functions in here. These are the different joysticks that are in here now. They do kind of fit your hand comfortably. Got all the buttons and options and stuff in there. And this is where the electric over hydraulic controls really start to shine, because you can go into the monitor and pretty much program this thing to anything you want it to do. Your operating style, your functions, however you got this machine equipped is 100% programmable into here. They've also got some pretty cool features. This hydraulic priority is very similar to what we're running in the 210. That is now available here, which is, you guys have seen us use this in many different scenarios. Very handy based on different things you're doing on the job site. This creep mode, and I'll show you whenever we get to the CDC function here in a little bit, how handy that comes into play. Bounce reduction, these machines, this is arm and boom bounce. They do not have accumulators on them no more. They actually do that with electronic valving. And we're gonna run this thing here a little bit and kind of see how smooth it is, but that is all incorporated into it. Auto warm up, you can go in there and basically get cold climates, get yourself going. But this is one thing I really like here. You guys have heard me talk about this on the 210 a little bit. You can go in here and, I believe if I'm correct, save up to 9 different settings. So if you find some settings you like for a certain application, you can go in there and save that setting. Or if you like a setting versus another operator, you can go in there and save that as well. And obviously you can delete and remove those. So that is pretty cool. This other function that I want to show you, and again, some of this is made available because of electronic controls and being programmable, is called CDC, Customer Drive Control, Comfort Drive Control, I believe. And what that allows you to do, let me show you, is normally you would track an excavator using your feet, correct? Back and forth. I've got it in creep mode down here. We're only going 10%. I'll tell you what, let's just go in there and let's speed ourselves up a little bit. How fast do you guys want to go? You want to go, oh, hang on, stick with me here. Let's go 20%. Perfect. So, typical driving excavator, most people, feet, hands. But with this one, in the CDC setting, there's a roller down here. You guys see it? And this gives you the option to drive the excavator with that, where you can literally move it while you're operating. This side over here, there's another roller. That allows you to turn the machine left and right. And the one thing the Volvos have always done really good with over the years is what I call multi-function in the hydraulics, the way they got their pump set up. So the way this is working is I can move, let me swing you guys around this way, I can move the boom and it does not affect the travel speed whatsoever. Very impressive. Now, that leaves me with one question. how is the feel, the response, and the feedback when digging with this thing? Can I tell the difference that it's not pilot control and it's electric control? I don't know. There's only one way to find it out. Let's swing around and put this thing in the dirt. All right, I'm gonna try to do all this without using my feet. See if I can, see if I'm smart enough to figure it out here. I think this is something I could really get used to over time. All right, first things first, we're gonna have to get the giddy up going here. Oh, we're going now. That is so weird driving with your fingers, but I kind of like it. Kind of like it a lot. All right, I don't want to get too much out here. They had a little bit of rain. It's a little bit muddy, but we got to play, right? We're going to escape out of that. So we got our monitor up. We are in high settings. First impressions, guys, it's, whoop, there's a rock. Oh, we got us a bite. I can tell a slight difference, but it's not a bad thing. It's still got the very, very familiar Volvo smoothness and finesse to it. My biggest thing is just kind of figuring out how my particular hands are comfortable on these new joysticks. It's not bad at all. Most of my experience with electric over hydraulic is the start and stop is usually where it's a little bit hard to control. This one seems to be pretty good. I don't think you're sacrificing a whole lot for the programmability and the options it adds. How much fuel this thing's got in it. I might sit here and play with this thing all day. What a beast. It's definitely not a finishing machine. Before we leave this beauty, give you guys a quick little walk around the outside. A couple features about this thing. It's actually got extra counterweight on it. I believe it's 1,500 pounds. Of what I've gathered, that's just for the North American market here. This machine will handle up to about a 6-yard bucket. This is a 5.5-yard bucket on it now. And it is configured as a long stick machine. So this one here is getting pretty close to being maxed out, but as always, beautiful Volvo styling, quiet machine, smooth. I am pleasantly surprised of the feel of the machine with the electronic controls. I know Chris's new 220 has them as well. Hoping to get her a chance to run it at some point, but pleasantly surprised. It's a beauty. All right, here with Matthew, and you're going to attempt to show us how to use, this is what Volvo calls Dig Assist, is that correct?
So this is Dig Assist Start, which is our basic package. It's a 2D machine guidance package.
Now this is standard equipment on all new?
From your EC220, so your 22-ton excavator, up to the EC550, and it's available on most others. It's just not a standard option.
Gotcha, okay. So give us the kind of the basic rundown here a little bit. We got something similar to the machine we're currently running, but this looks like it's got a few extra features and operates slightly different. So
say where the bucket is now, where you want to dig. So you just bench it, touch that 0, 0, you set it. If you want to give it some specifics, you can actually give it a depth, and we'll say 2 feet down. You see the live tape measure says you're 2 feet from grade. You've got that little orange line. Maybe you wanted to slope, so you just touch back in here, go to the angle icon, and we'll give it a 10% slope. And if you wanted it up towards you instead of down, we just change the sign. You can see that arrow switched when you go to that view. So the front view is just a straight line. Side view shows you the depth. This gives you the target from the bucket tooth to your target grade at live time. If you slide this out, you have a light bar. And if you want noises, you can have noises as well if you're used to working with a laser grade stake. And the distance at which these change is up to the operator. So if I slide that all the way out, you've got these little measurements here. So if I put my foot on 1, then I can set that to be 2. I want a warning 2 feet away.
Gotcha.
And
so you
now,
can customize your warnings based on what you're doing.
Yeah, you can customize those pretty much on the fly. And you just set that to how wide you want it. I would probably watch the cartoon and see how close I was, but that's not how real operators. Real operators would just look out the corner of their eye,
well,
wait till they're on green.
Especially guys that have been doing it for a while, we're so trained to noises and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So one question I got for you is, do I always have to reach up and touch the screen to set my grade, or is there a way to program one of these buttons on the joysticks to do that for us?
You got it. So you start off on this main menu button, and we go into machine, and then joystick, and you get a screen that shows you the 4 buttons that are hotkeys. So 3 on the left here, 1 on the right, and to set it up, you simply touch one of those circles, and you scroll through until you find the icon that you want as your shortcut key. Now this one happened to be set for set 0, so we'll save that one, and we can go back in. So all these can be programmed, and you have presets 1, 2, and 3, so if you're the boss and you've got 3 operators, every guy can get in here. You just hold that, and you can put your name down there.
Gotcha.
So, or if you have different functions, you could have this for dig assist start, that could be onboard weighing, that could be infield design.
I guess that also would give you the option is if you're doing different tasks with it, like trench and pipe, you may have different settings versus like digging a foundation or something like that.
And then you choose the preset that works best for the job that you're working on right now.
Gotcha.
And then so like once you get those programmed in, you know, we left one empty for right now, you would just hit save, go back out to your main screen, and those controls would then be live. So if I recall correctly, this one was set for set 0, and if I click it, or did we set it on this side?
I think it was the top one over here.
That's right. I'm grabbing the wrong one. There we go.
Yep.
And we're on grade. It shows we're on grade. We're here, and then you would just go back in and reprogram in, say my 10% slope, 2 feet down. And if I got wrong, you just go back in, flip your sign, and you're back up and running.
So on the 2D system, there's basically 2 different ways to get grade. One's to reach out and touch and set. The other one would be has had a laser receiver on it where you could get it through based off a laser.
Right.
But you do have the option, and I guess it'd be into 3D to run off GPS base station.
Once you upgrade to have the antennas on the back, then you can connect to a base station or an N-trip service, depending on what you have available. N-trip service is just you're using somebody else's base stations and you're connecting to them over the internet with a cell phone card. And you'll get the icon up here that says RTK with a base station, or it'll say N-trip if you're hooked up to N-trip.
Gotcha.
And when you're hooked up to that, even if you're in this quick mode, what you would do is you could trench all the way to the horizon and it'll keep track of the machine's elevation. When you don't have that, then every time you back up the machine, you need to let it know that you've moved so it can tell your elevation. So you would either use a touch point function where you would touch a point before you move, back the machine up, touch the exact same spot, click it, you know, figure out your, calculate your elevation.
Which is pretty similar to what we do now on a regular basis, which is a great reference tool and can be used for accuracy if done carefully.
Yeah.
Is the best way. So, well, I think I'm going to swing around here and play with this thing just a little bit and see what we think.
All right. I'll jump off and you just holler when you need me.
Thank you. All right, guys, going to swing around here and play with this a little bit. Just kind of curious how the readout and how the display works kind of compared to what we're accustomed to. Really like the option of just hitting that quick button on the joystick. We're going to come in here on grade 1, see what we look like. One thing I noticed right off the bat, not 100% accustomed to this machine. We're in a little bit of rocky stuff, so we're jumping around a little bit. But that display number up there seems to be much more stable, much more usable number. Hopefully you guys can see that up there in the corner. much more accurate while moving. The other thing I like about this, he explained, and I'm not going to set them right now, but multiple different tone settings in here. So you guys that are used to listening to the audible tone of a laser receiver, you can pretty much customize that to what you're accustomed to seeing. I also like how we got these lights over here, which is what we're familiar seeing on the laser receiver as well. So pretty slick system all in all, especially to be standard equipment. Guys, I am very impressed with this. It is very user-friendly, have a lot of options. You can do a lot of different settings in this thing, customize it to whatever you're doing or whatever your operating styles are without it being over complicated. The only downfall, and I'm just kind of nitpicking here a little bit, is I love this display. I'm hoping they can get this monitor incorporated into that one at one point. I believe they're working in that direction, but pretty slick setup. I'm impressed. So you say we have a few other features available to us we haven't even explored yet.
Yeah. So this machine has active control.
Okay.
So it'll work with the 2D system, and then it can be upgraded to work with our infield design or even Top Gun.
So would active control be considered MC, machine control?
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
So this little icon's a bucket with an A by it for automatics. You would turn it on, and you could control the bucket yourself and it just controls the boom, or if we set it to active, it controls the boom and the bucket. You would just unlock here and set the angle that you want it to grade at, where
okay.
It's, that's not a perfectly good one, but we'll just lock it in there. And then you could say, I want it slow, but I want a really tight grade, or I want it faster, but I can accept a looser grade. And then if you want the back grading on or off, you just select that. And once you have your selections made, you just click on here. The safety lever has to be up.
This one
click
here?
the middle button, and it's on. You notice overgrading is grayed out because the computer is going to keep you from going below grade.
So basically right now, if we went to dig, it would not let us go 2 feet deeper than what we are right now.
That's correct.
It's not me, the operator, the machine itself is going to stop
the
itself.
Computer's going to control the boom and keep you from going further below grade.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of, I'm going to say, it's hard to find good help now. So when you can't find good help and they need to hit grade because you're paying them to do a job, this system will allow them to hit grade without having the right skill set to hit grade every time. I'll be honest, that's what I use.
Which even a skilled operator in right situations, this still is a time saver and improves on accuracy. And a lot of people don't even think about it. Just hitting grade can save you on a big jobs, the amount of rock or fill and stuff like that you have to go back in there. So
now, if you do a big job and you overgraded by 4 inches the whole way, that's a lot of fill.
Yeah, it adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So can you also set limits? So let's say I'm working underneath the power line. I want the boom not to be able to go any higher than set amount.
So it's a separate feature. It's not the auto digging, but we go into the machine and we set boundary limits. And we have depth, height, and swing limits. And if
Gotcha.
we turn on swing limits, this would be when you're getting close to traffic. The outermost ones are going to be fences. So I could swing the machine over here, click that fence, and it doesn't matter my RPMs or how hard I move the joystick, it's going to lock me out.
So if I raise this up here a little bit,
right?
And can we just set a limit right here?
Sure.
Just for demonstrating purposes?
So that's a hard limit. We have it on. We can exit out. We'll go to the main screen. If you want to swing that way,
so if I
come
swing
back
this way,
you're still within the zone. Now we're out of that particular zone.
so we're going to come back to it now.
Yeah, you can go as hard as you want. And it gives you a visual, an audible warning, and it stops you. And as hard as you move that joystick, you're not going past that point.
That could definitely be handy in certain situations, because on job sites you get so busy and you're so preoccupied looking at so many other things.
Right.
Having that kind of watching your back for you would definitely be beneficial from time to time. The thing is just remembering how to set all these settings.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually set up a view for that. So if I go down that view selector and hit boundary, then I actually still have that circle in there.
Gotcha. And then can I just click on that to edit it?
And that window pops on.
I just hit off?
Yep. It lets you know, usually on both screens, that you've turned it off.
Nice.
And then you would just exit out.
Nice.
And then the ones that were in the middle are called swing control, so that's 1 and 2. So So if I click that one, let me get into that main menu again. That's right, we turned it off. So turn it on. Yep. Now I'm going to hit the number 1. So this is a swing control. So instead of an absolute fence, this one I can override. So if this was my truck, either way I approach the truck, it's going to stop. But if I only want it to stop from one side, I can disable one of them. And now it's going to stop me from this direction, but if I was swinging from this way, it would breeze right through it.
Let you keep going.
So that's just for productivity. If you have 2 locations that you're stopping over and over again, just pre-program those in. You could still have fences on the outside to say, here's a lane of traffic and over here is a building. So basically
you can come with that truck full bore and the machine's automatically going to stop where it needs to
Absolutely.
Go.
And it just depends if you want to go to the screen or if you have the one that's on the main screen that you go back into. And you could go through it from there. So different ways to get into the system.
Right.
So yeah, you're not touching buttons all day long.
Awesome. That's the benefits of that are endless.
Yeah.
They really are. Well, that's going to be a wrap here at the 250, guys. Definitely appreciative to get the opportunity to try out the new technology, the new Dick Assist. Honestly, didn't know what to expect, but honestly, overall, pretty impressed with it. So we're going to move on and see what else we can find here on the yard.